Hello and welcome to yet another video. This is the second episode of the story, and a chance meeting leads Naruto Uzumaki to learn Genjutsu. Sure, he lacks talent, but once Naruto sets his mind to something, he will never give up until he completes it, and Naruto will not stop until he is a master of Genjutsu. Please like and subscribe to show your support. Now let's begin. Upon returning home, Naruto picked up Hidden Leaf Village, a history, and left his other books on the couch in the living room. He sat on the seat nearest him and began to read. His excitement for learning about his family's history was palpable as he stood up straight in his seat. He should once again express gratitude to Shikamaru for providing him with this opportunity. Naruto started to sift through the book in an attempt to locate any page that had the name Uzumaki on it. While doing that, he skipped many important chapters in the Leaf's history. He occupied the page that chronicled the conflict between the first Hokage and Madara Uchiha, who utilized the nine-tailed fox to create the Valley of the End. The third Hokage's experience in 3 world wars made him a difficult character to match. Despite the existence of other stories, Naruto stopped moving through the book and stared at an image of the fourth Hokage on a giant toad. He saved the Hidden Leaf's life by sealing the spirit of the nine-tailed fox within his body, as he did in this case. Naruto conquered the fear that had gripped him and persisted in reading. The reason he didn't bother reading his school textbooks was due to their large size and the use of complex words. It was a truly uninteresting experience. During the final pages of the book, he was surprised to find his family name. Pages 473 to 500 in Uzumaki. He was on page 800. The words, "the village hidden in the swirling tides," were displayed on Naruto's final page, which was actually page 473. The Hidden Whirlpool Village, which is a variation of the village hidden in the swirling tides, was established shortly after the 5 great hidden villages were created. Whirlpool's reputation grew from a small beginning when it became renowned for its proficiency in the sealing arts and its diverse range of skills in other ninja styles. Whirlpool had a strong connection to the Hidden Leaf Village from its inception until it was destroyed shortly after the conclusion of the Second Shinobi World War. This was mainly because the Uzumaki clan, which is Whirlpool's biggest rival, was an ally of the Leaf Senju clan during the warring clanisms. To enhance relations between the two villages, Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage of the Leaf, and Mito Uzumaki from Whirlpool entered into a political marriage. The two villages formed a peace treaty and trade alliance, which had an added benefit. While Whirlpool's members had a wide range of abilities, including the ability to manifest chains of chakra and utilize the lava chakra, its Uzumaki clan was known for its exceptional talent. The sensor's combat and tracking capabilities were significantly enhanced by this ability. The mechanics of this ability is not well understood, but it was believed that as the person's ability to feel increased due to the sensor control over their chakra, they would develop a sixth sense. The Uzumaki clan members shared a common trait in their longevity. Having this attribute would lead to an improved metabolism, quicker recovery time, larger average chakra reserves, and longer life expectancy. The Village of Longevity was the nickname given to Whirlpool due to this. Regrettably, Whirlpool's potential power was fueled by their combination of skilled ninjas, diverse abilities, and sealing skills, which gave them a reputational embarrassment that ultimately led to its downfall. Whirlpool's remaining survivors are scattered around the world, relocating to various hidden villages within the elemental nations. The smile on Naruto's face was as bright as the sun. He felt a great sense of pride in his family's fame and respect. Along with his awesomeness, his family was a force to be reckoned with. The connection between Whirlpool and the Leaf was highlighted by him wearing a red crest on his jacket's back. He should have been informed by the Hokage about his family's status, even though he may not have received any information about it during class. The book claims that he had not yet encountered any members of his family, but there were others from their clan who lived in other hidden villages. Was there any reason for the Hokage to assume that they were an orphan without a name? Naruto retreated and scrutinized the passage about his clan and village, reflecting on how the sensor ability was described. At times, he would notice someone being nearby before actually seeing them, but assumed it was just his gut feeling. It's conceivable that he had the potential to do so. The Bij believed that the more they controlled their chakra, the better their ability to perceive it would be. The ability to control the chakras is essential for him to become proficient in Genjutsu, so it would be great if he could also serve as a sensor. Iruka-sensei's method of killing two birds with a single kunai is the correct way to do so. Naruto resorted to paraphrasing to finish the history book. Despite his current thoughts on the information, Naruto had an idea of the order in which he wanted to read the other books. Like a real ninja, he would set his own pace. Basics of Chakra Control was the first book he picked up and began to read. Chakra is a manifestation of the interdependence of spiritual and material forces. He recollects being placed on the spot in class and feeling embarrassed when he couldn't explain to Iruka the meaning of chakra. He ensured he had knowledge after that. The balance between these two energies during chakra molding is crucial to using the least amount of energy for maximum efficiency. If the two energies are not complementary during the creation of a jutsu, chakra will be wasted and any incoming jitsu will lose its effectiveness. By meditating, one can learn how to balance physical and spiritual energy. Naruto's eyes were shut and he contemplated reaching for his chakra. He smiled and acknowledged the immense energy that was flowing within him, stating that it was now effortless. He went a great distance and felt for the combination of physical and spiritual energy. He disregarded the whirlwind of his chakra and continued to work until he could distinguish the difference between its physical and spiritual energy, which had been separated by a large lake. Although he could sense the increase of his spiritual energy, it was relatively minor. He carried on with his reading. The more you train your body, the more energy you gain physically and the greater your mental focus and purpose. The easiest way to combine the two is by adding the leaf attachment. The book provided a detailed explanation of how the exercise was performed, and Naruto read it several times to ensure he was doing it correctly. With a smile on his face, he continued to read. Once you've completed the leaf attachment exercise, the next step is to attach chakra to a surface. Naruto's confusion and shock caused him to widen his eyes. What is the role of surface clinging in managing chakras? The objective of this exercise is to stick to the surface as closely as possible, similar to how a leaf would stick together. Using too much chakra will push you away from the surface, while using too little chakra can cause you to fall off. This is a more advanced version of the leaf attachment exercise. Looked like it was uncomplicated. After that, he ran towards the wall that was nearest to him. Upon reaching it, he directed his chakra towards his feet and attempted to walk across the wall. Naruto acted in two ways, one step at a time. He grinned and declared, "I was going to finish this exercise very soon." He fell to the ground when his third step occurred, causing his foot to slip. Naruto paused to look at the wall and leapt. The night was going to be quite a long one. Naruto was on the bridge with Sakura when he arrived, preoccupied with his leaf exercise. The leaf moved from his forehead to the sleeve of his fresh orange sweater. Before it could be taken, a gust of wind carried the leaf away. Naruto's arrival was unexpected as he was the last and only to leave, making it an unexpected surprise. Naruto screamed, "No wind!" Naruto was able to mimic the tone of his old counterpart Naruki, but Sakura's blue eyes caused him to turn away and stand up when they appeared red. He turned on a new leaf and lifted his hoodie. After completing his homemade leaf exercise, he began to show improvement. Despite having good looks and exerting more effort on missions, Naruto's latest installment was so strange. Although she didn't miss him constantly asking her out and he being an idiot, she sometimes wished that the old version of Naruto would come back. He was so reserved and distant now that he only spoke to her when it was absolutely necessary. If not, he would pretend to be non-existent. How dare he do She thought 1 week would be enough for Naruto to shut off his cell and start cracking, but it seemed like this was normal. She was so angry that she wanted to give him a peace of mind. He would fight back, so she didn't give in. It seemed like he finally got the hint. The only time Kakashi felt angry was when he dressed Naruto down after the bell test. Her act of disgust and guilt caused her to quail. Naruto's bothersome behavior was not her fault, she wasn't responsible for it. He couldn't accept a response even if she used physical force on him, and he never showed any signs of hurt. It's conceivable that he had a greater skill in keeping it hidden than others. She'd always recollect how he snapped. The blood-red eyes of her would be a constant sighting. His feelings for her were more pronounced than his, and she should have been nicer. Although he wasn't bad, it was easy to forget him when she was too consumed with self-indulgence. Later on, Sasuke joined them and managed to divert her attention. "Sasuke," she said. Sasuke yelled, leaning against the bridge's railings. When Naruto looked up at him, he gave him a nod and turned his head away. Sasuke concealed it well, but Sakura could perceive his eyebrow curling and the tension in his face. This new Naruto didn't suit him in the same way. Naruto's lack of concern for Sasuke made it effortless for her to concentrate, but that didn't matter. Even so, he turned down her request. She didn't meet his expectations and was not good enough for him. Naruto was the sole person who ever referred to her as pretty and showed any interest in her, but that was before he changed his mind. If Naruto had abandoned her, how could she have used her oversized forehead to lure Sasuke? Sakura Haruno's true identity was not that of a little girl, but rather the skill of being able to use her skills as ninja. Team 7's teamwork was the only thing that made being a ninja more enjoyable these days. They carried out their tasks without any commotion, and they vanquished any unintelligent teamwork exercises. The silver lining was present. In the present time, she would take as many of them as possible. Naruto briefly glanced at his teammates and had to retort with a triumphant wink. It is beneficial to them. In the past, Naruto would take any excuse to learn more about his fellow operatives. He would accompany them to their residences and arrive at their earliest convenience to engage in conversation about anything, hoping to establish a friendship with them. Sasuke and Sakura were teammates, but they didn't leave their friends behind. Since it was evident that the plan didn't work out, Naruto decided to pursue other options, such as meeting with individuals who genuinely cared for him, like Ayame and Teuchi or Shikamaru. Kurenai's absence from the village was a source of regret. Nonetheless, Team 7's teamwork couldn't be more impressive. Despite being outraged by his teammates' orders, Naruto was the first to follow them. The reason for doing this was to establish a decent working relationship with his team, as he didn't anticipate them becoming friends in the future. He was unable to switch teams, so he had to settle for what remained. It was a difficult task, and Naruto would frequently express his anger through shouting, but he eventually stopped doing so. Shikamaru bestowed upon him the ideal shinobi's rules and maxims, which greatly facilitated his improvement in mission conduct and provided him with a strong starting point. His efforts yielded positive results. It was also good practice to learn how to work with Sakura and Sasuke. Upon reaching the Chunin rank, there was a possibility that he would have to deal with individuals who were worse than his own team. Despite not being a skilled or experienced educator, Kakashi had first-hand experience of the type of ninja life. With a determined smile, Naruto resumed his exercise routine. Gradually, he was getting better by the day. Although he struggled with surface clinging initially, his ability to walk up the wall and stick to the ceiling was soon recognized after recognizing the required amount of chakra energy. He had to be able to stick his body onto the ceiling for a minimum of 1 hour, which was not feasible due to his inability to do so, in order to master the exercise. Nevertheless, the leaf was affixed to his forehead and he initiated the process of channeling chakra beneath it. He gradually decreased the amount of chakra that kept his leaf in place, but he did not want any additional chakra to interfere with this process. This was evident during his meditation and intuition for his chakra. Despite considering the guidance from Irika-sensei, he struggled to use the required amount of chakra consistently. The level of frustration was frustrating due to the fact that it was either too much or too little. Naruto pondered the idea of using alternative methods to turn the page. He felt his mind racing and the vigor of his chakra increased. Naruto's concentration on the leaf stopped abruptly as his mind was overwhelmed with information. The information he received when a shadow clone invalidated him was not accurate. Naruto clung to his head and spat in agony. Naruto. Assuming all is satisfactory, Naruto looked to Sakura for assistance. She had shown concern, and the smallest gesture he could make was a smile. "Don't worry, Sakura. It's fine with me." Sakura smiled awkwardly and said, "Good." He was grateful, even though she was surprised. His thoughts drifted back to that odd feeling, and what could have prompted it. The leaf was in his peripheral vision, and he was so focused on his chakra that his vision expanded. He could see Sasuke and Sakura, but his eyes were closed. Is it true that "no" is a valid question? It was impossible for me to see them. I detected them. Naruto shut his eyes and felt for other chakras besides his own. His teammates were able to see him and they felt the same way. Confused? How did he detect that? It appeared to be related to their chakra system. Like all things, he had to train his new skill for it to be of any use. At the moment, he was in disbelief over the level of coolness this ability brought. He resumed his concentration and detected a chakra signature beneath the bridge. "Kakashi-sensei, let me introduce myself." As they stood nearby, Kakashi appeared. I was cognizant of this. Initially, he wasn't sure, but after another look, there was no sign present below the bridge. Kakashi inquired, "How did you come to the realization that I was?" "Upon touching down, your chakra and that of Sasuke and Sakura appeared to me gray with a blue dot larger than the others." With a nod, Kakashi proceeded to move forward. "Hats off to Naruto, congratulating you. Feels like you're a censor." Naruto's expression was one of pure happiness. Sasuke's expression prompted him to frown and shake his head, but he was actually jealous. Sakura observed him with a small degree of surprise in her eyes. They were faced with the same issue as him because he was a censor. "Let's go for a mission, my lovely vagina," Kakashi said. This time, Naruto was all smiles as he headed to the mission assignment desk, confidently waiting to be assigned. He was a censor. The history book was truthful. There wasn't a lot of information about his censor in that history book, which was problematic. It's possible that Kakashi had some knowledge about something. "Kakashi," Sasuke declared. Kakashi gazed upward from his novel. By using his escape route, he was able to steer clear of objects and other locals. "Sasuke, could you shed some light on what a chakra is?" "It's called chakra detection, but it takes years of practice to make use of. Even if you possess the necessary skills to use it, like me, it will be less effective than a censor." Sasuke's eyes shone with gleam, yet he continued to display a lack of concern. "Do you have the technique for me?" Kakashi chuckled. "Ask me and Sakura to learn how to identify chakra." Sasuke nodded as he acknowledged. They were trailed by Sakura, who did the same. Naruto raised his voice and asked, "What the hell am I?" "You can participate, but it's more effective if you work on yourself," Kakashi suggested. "I cannot do anything but initiate you right away." Naruto acknowledged Kakashi's joy by saying, "Thank you, I appreciate it." Learning about Kakashi's chakra detection could potentially assist in his comprehension. While walking to his training clearing, Naruto was consumed by thoughts. Today's events were captivating. Sakura was genuinely concerned about his well-being and she was impressed by his exceptional talent. He began to experience skepticism in his mind. If Sakura or Sasuke were willing to be friends, Naruto would be. He had no intention of pushing them and was done with the fight for their favor. While on his journey, Naruto stopped to examine the memorial stone and looked for anyone with the same surname as himself. He could only come across one woman, Kushina. The name was positioned slightly lower than the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, which was an interesting coincidence. He was filled with pride to realize that he belonged to one of the village's heroes. Naruto paused in the woods behind the memorial stone, as part of his journey. He closed his eyes and used his new talent to feel the world fade into gray. Despite his limited visual range, Naruto was confident that his sensor would become more powerful with better chakra control and practice. Despite being completely unaware of others, Naruto entered the forest and approached his training area, ready to train. The book How to Train Properly served as the inspiration for his current training regimen, which included detailed illustrations of how to perform exercises. The pictures moved if he squeezed his chakra into it. A range of exercises were included, including material for academy students and demanding programs that made him sweat. Regardless, the individual who wrote this piece had an understanding of it and could sense his own growth potential after a week of training. He agreed with the book's assertion that he shouldn't expect to have his ideal body overnight. By working hard and patiently, one would soon realize the potential of becoming a legendary shinobi. It always made him sweat a lot. Once he had finished and taken his breath away, Naruto began to climb steep hills to improve his surface cling skills. Tree climbing was more challenging than wall climbing, as the bark of trees was not uniform and they were much taller than the distance between the floor and ceiling of his apartment. His legs were burned and the drain in his chakra was felt as he continued to practice. Shortly after, Naruto lowered himself to the ground and executed cooldown stretches. Naruto's expression was one of pure happiness as he breathed his last. That was a fantastic workout. He walked towards his own waterfall and utilized his sensor ability to ensure that the waterfall was not being used. He went to the spot where nobody was present and sat on the rock near the waterfall, taking out Genjutsu for beginners from his sweater. A note was ripped out of the book when he opened it. He retrieved the item and proceeded to read. The meanings of some words in Naruto are listed below. May they be of assistance to you. Subtlety is a crucial skill in both stealth and covert photography. The ability to engage in activities that are barely noticeable, if not immediately, is what counts. Finesse is the ability to execute an action with finesse. He was truly grateful to have been taught by Shikamaru how to interpret difficult words, as he appreciated his assistance. After inserting the note into the book, he started to read the foreword and eventually reached the beginning of Chapter 1. He had a history of reading books like this and quickly. Read the first chapter. Genjutsu, a form of ninja art practice, is notorious for its challenging nature, as it requires significant skill to master. Generally, individuals consider themselves masters when they can manipulate their instructors into creating an illusion. The principles of Genjutsu differ from those of the Japanese martial arts, as both reliance on the user's chakra or environment and emphasis on their physical strength are dependent on this skill. The scarcity of Genjutsu instructors is primarily due to the challenge of meeting the necessary conditions for optimal use. Chakra control is the most arduous aspect of Genjutsu training that one must excel in. A significant proportion of individuals are incapable of exerting enough control over their opponent's chakra system to create illusions and psychological effects on them. By manipulating the chakra that flows through the opponent's brain, this objective is achieved. It is essential to possess a keen sense of the environment and its surroundings for casting and identifying, as only the best Genjutsu users are capable of doing so. The most effective Genjutsu user must be cognizant and pay attention to their movements. The more accurate and realistic the illusion, the more challenging it is for the target to break it. The harder it is to break the subtlety of an illusion, and therefore more so. Single target, Genjutsu is the most commonly used form of this martial art. The act involves manipulating the target's senses, inducing false images or thoughts into their mind, and causing symptoms such as vertigo or paralysis. Multi-target or environmental is the name given to the second form of Genjutsu. These illusions have a greater impact on multiple targets, making them more challenging to execute. The final method in this Genjutsu branch is referred to as Infinite Darkness, which was utilized by the first and second Hokage, among others. Genjutsu can be enhanced through the use of a Kekkai Genkai, which is an alternative technique that allows practitioners to increase their power. There exist two clans that possess a Kekkai Genkai. The Kurama clan is the first and most obscure clan. The lack of a specific name or shape on their Kekkai Genkai helps to enhance its effectiveness, as the target would never be able to detect its activation. The Kurama clan's ability to perform Genjutsu is due to the presence of an inner demon in each member, which is a well-known aspect of the martial art. In spite of this, the demon gradually eliminates those who are under its influence. The Uchiha clan is the second and most extensive group. Their Kekkai Genkai, or Sharingan, is a red-colored eye with 1 to 3 tomo in both eyes as an indicator of the eye's effectiveness. The Sharingan enables the Uchiha to see through Genjutsu and can only be cast through eye contact after 3 tomo or so are seen. 3 methods have been identified to successfully knock out a Genjutsu. The first and most unwise approach is to halt the Genjutsu by self-harm. Another highly recommended technique is to completely stop the chakra flow and emit a massive pulse of chakra through your entire chakra system, which will dissipate external energy that is damaging your chakra network. Genjutsu is accomplished by the target through the third method, where a partner pushes chakra into their system and eliminates all other external chakras. The book's utterances left Naruto feeling quite content. It all came together when Irika told him about Genjutsu. He opted to shower before returning home because of the waterfall. After removing his clothes, he placed the book on top of them and laid them on the rock. He shook in the shower and felt warm water billowing down his back, which made him cry with delight. After regaining his normalcy and happiness, Naruto stopped walking when he looked at a friend reading him, sitting on the rock where his clothes were supposed to be. Fortunately, they were still neatly packed, only on the ground. He smacked heavily and attempted to hide his face. "Good morning, Naruto," said the character's teacher. She made sure to position the book in such a way that she could only see his torso and face. She seemed to be checking him out, which was both kind and strange. Without a doubt, it was an embarrassing situation. Naruto uttered the words, "Kurinai-sensei," taking only a brief moment to take his time and express his thoughts. Kurinai asked, with a smile on his face, "What the hell is this place for you? I had a desire to shower, but you seem to have overpowered me." Naruto nodded and recalled the first time we crossed paths. "It seems like we've moved on, right?" Naruto nodded and continued to blush. Kurinai-sensei said, "Give me some clothes." "Yeah, right." Naruto observed Kurinai reading his book while he reached for his clothes. His laughter was overflowing with laughter as he said, "Genjutsu? As you're revealing, there's no question about how unexpected you can be." Naruto finished by putting on his gray shirt and matching pants, wrapping his sweater around his waist. After getting dressed, he stood in front of Kurinai, who was still reading his book. Naruto stated that he is fully clothed, as evidenced by his statement. Kurinai ended the book. "Naruto, where did you find this?" "Shikamaru, my friend. Last week, I was introduced to him and he gave me some of his books to help me. He gave me Hidden Leaf Village, a history." Kurinai's expression was one of pure happiness, as he smiled. "I'm curious, if someone wants you to give him a history book, why did they do it?" "Shikamaru mentioned that my clan was given," he said. His expression wore off. The Uzumaki were a powerful clan, known for their ability to seal and their abundance of abilities. Due to their overwhelming strength, they were obliterated by their enemies. Kurenai presented his book to him. Throughout his brief speech, Kurenai was completely focused on him, as if she had genuine interest in what he was saying. It's clear that you have a remarkable family background. Naruto's expression was sweet. It would be fantastic if I could become a seal master like their people. Exactly. Kurenai exhibited a raised eyebrow. It would demand a great deal of hard work and dedication. The lack of available materials for gaining knowledge in sealing necessitates the involvement of a master who can teach you or provide you with self-taught practice. Naruto's face collapsed as he spoke. Wouldn't it be more straightforward to learn on my own? It's possible to start afresh once you gain more experience in this field. Naruto nodded as he spoke. Although it was part of his family history, he wanted to first be an expert at Genjutsu, and that meant working on improving. Kurenai-sensei, please. He had sparkling eyes. I just found out that I'm a censor today. Kurenai exclaimed softly, saying with bated breath. What is the extent of your chakra sense? Kurenai's laughter was palpable. That sounds good. Naruto's eyes widened as a memory hit him hard. Kurenai-sensei, where did you go? I was looking everywhere but couldn't find you anywhere. She stated that her team and she were on a C-rank mission. She had a slight frown on her face. I was unaware that you were seeking me. Naruto's relief was evident as he smiled. It's fine. Your team is of greater significance to me. Kurenai expressed her gratitude for your concern, with a smile flicking back. Naruto responded with a smile, how was your training with Kakashi? Due to our busy schedule on missions, we didn't have much time to train, so we opted for a week-long training. I did, however, train by myself. Have you undergone any training to improve your chakra control and physical fitness? I would attach myself to walls or ceilings. If I use too much chakra, I will lose my balance and fall off if I remain on the surface. Kurenai's location was ideal, so he could demonstrate his leaf exercise to her. He sprinted to grab the nearest object and hustled back. What's your goal, Naruto? Kurenai inquired. Observe, he murmured, gesturing over the rock that entered into the waterfall and placing his gaze on the leaf. Place the leaf on your chakra and inhale its scent. Naruto acted on the leaf and proceeded to the subsequent stage of his novel. Apply the same quantity of energy beneath the leaf to access it. He directed his attention towards his chakra and induced it to comply with his commands. His lips vibrated as he felt his chakra shift. Slowly move the gathered chakra from the top of the leaf to the bottom, covering both the forehead and nose. He would have to make the leaf move instead of waiting for it to do so, similar to the way he would apply chakra to his feet when attempting to walk on walls. He strained his focus and the leaf began to fall from his forehead, up the bridge of his eyebrows, and down the tip of nose. I did it. Kurenai remarked, followed by his own question. What exactly did you do? Naruto's expression was one of pure happiness, as he smiled. After mastering the leaf attachment exercise, I devised my own to better manage my chakras. It was a tough task, but I persevered and completed it recently. Kurenai gave a nod and then smiled at him. I acknowledged the statement. The addition of more leaves to the exercise will increase its complexity and enhance your chakra control. Well done, that's a good exercise. Naruto's eyes lit up with joy as he gazed at his idol, Naruto. Thanks, I understand that Genjutsu requires more practice than meets the eye. Naruto appeared to have two heads in front of Kurenai, but she shook her head in an instant. Did you read the book on Genjutsu because it's not commonly practiced by ninjas? With his fists clenched, Naruto stood up straight away. Shikamaru believed that I would be a great fighter-in-chief in Genjutsu, while Ruchi told me that Kikuruka-sensei had the ability to learn jutting techniques quickly and possess abundant chakra. He didn't need to reveal his past as a prankster, even though he felt Kurenai was already aware of it. If I were to become a master in Genjutsu, it would be recognized as an impressive feat that no one else would recognize, and people would know they had learned the art. Kurenai's smile and red eyes, which were filled with pride, were seen by Naruto at the end of his speech. He experienced a strange sensation in his heart that caused him to burst into tears. Regardless, it disappeared when Kurenai's smile turned into a grim expression. "How do I say this?" Kurenai asked, and it was inappropriate for her to not sound calm. "It's my belief that you can't control your chakra enough to become a Genjutsu expert." Iruka advised him to prioritize other tasks, but Kurenai's rejection of his new dream was a completely different matter. After being impressed by her kindness towards him, he couldn't fathom why she would behave in that way. "What's the reason?" he inquired. Kurenai sighed. "The amount of time it takes to achieve Genjutsu mastery in chakra control is so long that it's worth the effort. It could also impede your ability to concentrate on the things you excel in." He exclaimed, "I'm much better than last week at chakra control," and he was ready to take a whiff out of Kurenai's mouth. "I suggest that you concentrate your chakra and create a shadow clone," Kurenai advised. Naruto fashioned the hand seal and initiated the process of gathering chakras. Even with only one clone, the lack of a suitable replacement wouldn't be ideal, especially since he had just finished his training day. The amount of chakra he required led to the formation of 20 clones, and blue energy began to surround his body. They were all wearing mean-spirited expressions. Kurenai's blinking was swift, but she gave Naruto a pat on the wrist. He disregarded all his clones and used the memory feedback to brush his teeth. "Attempt the typical clone jutsu," she suggested. He ingested, but his eyes tightened and he performed the hand seals. A lone clone emerged beside him, but its form was unclear. He made another attempt, and the sight of a dead clone that was all too familiar caused him to stomp his foot in shame and anger. "Can you confirm whether or not I have examined your seal?" Kurenai inquired, and Naruto couldn't conceal her disapproval. "I'm anticipating a pleasant surprise from you, thank you very much." Naruto's shirt was lifted by a frustrated sigh, and he forgot about the hanging garment that would cover his sweater once Kurenai finished. He swayed the spiral-shaped seal to its formation and observed Kurenai's knees to scrutinize it, with her red eyes shining brightly. Although he couldn't understand her search, she appeared to be aware of her actions. She stood up for a minute. "Naruto, I am grateful for your contribution to the story." She placed her hand on his shoulder. "I apologize for the inconvenience caused to you. I don't want to disappoint you, but it's preferable if you refuse to accept your hopes." Naruto took off his sweater and placed it on his other shoulder. He was no longer angry with her, but only in a state of confusion. "I get it, don't worry, I understand. I'm not sure why you checked my seal. I'm not entirely sure if it's intentional, but it seems like the seal is taking some of the Nine-Tails chakra and adding it to your own reserves. This can happen at any time, and it affects your capacity to gather and shape chakras." It made some sense, even though it was not related to anything specific to the Nine-Tails. "What is the significance of Genjutsu in my practice?" It would dispel any mischievous notion you desired to perpetuate. The silence was tinged with tension. Kurenai wouldn't be lying about something like this. The news of the nine-tailed fox ruining everything was incredibly disappointing. At the end of the day, he would have to live with it and wouldn't allow his dream to be hindered by anyone, including the Nine-Tails. With a determined determination, he gazed at Kurenai's face. "This is merely a partial regression. My chakra control skills will improve to the point where I can forget about the Nine-Tails. Genjutsu is my calling, and I will do whatever it takes to achieve that goal." Kurenai remained silent for a moment, looking at him with affection like she was dating someone else. Subsequently, the tension escalated and she began to laugh uncontrollably, laughing until her ribs were crushed and tears were streaming out of her eyes. He was aware of the sound, but she didn't find it amusing. She appeared to be genuinely consumed by emotions. She regained her coolness and exuded a radiant smile. If you're so determined, then why am I not going to do it for you? The village needs more people with your heart and soul. Naruto's expression was one of pure happiness, and he also smiled. Kurenai-sensei, I am grateful and thankful. I pledge to work extremely hard and keep you accountable. Her breath was fresh out of her lung. I was told that Kakashi has only taught you teamwork exercises and no other training. Are you noticing a change in her voice? Naruto's fervent, eye-crushing gaze changed to a more serious tone. He does some physical training with us, but he doesn't teach us jutsu. There's not a lot of competition among us either. You questioned whether you had requested additional support? No, absolutely. But I think that our teamwork would have to improve before he could help any of us. At least not until today. Sasuke discovered me to be a censor and asked Kakashi-sensei if he could learn something like this, just like other censors. Kurenai inquired about chakra detection. Naruto nodded as he spoke. Alright, that's a good point. Sasuke and Sakura were informed by Kakashi-sensei that he would be teaching them the art of doing it. He suggested that I should enhance the range of my sensor when asked, but he also permitted me to work alongside my teammates. Kurenai's pupils shrunk a little. In the absence of instruction from a teacher, how does Genin expect your team to train? Despite his explanation of the library, I couldn't locate any useful information when I went to it. Naruto's expression was one of a frown. The archive library was gifted to me by Shikamaru, but I never ventured into it after reading those books. He had to worry about constantly searching in libraries due to the negative impact of these factors. Kurenai's intervention to release his thoughts jolted him. I have a jutsu scroll to give you, so I'll inform you and assist you in any way possible. According to Naruto's glimmer of hope, is it true? With a soft smile, Kurenai moved his gaze back and forth. Yes, of course. Despite my lack of interest in Genjutsu, I am willing to train you as an amateur martial arts practitioner. Naruto embraced Kurenai with affection. Kurenai-sensei, I'll take care of you, thank you so much. Naruto slowly stepped back and saw where his face was laid to rest. He had red cheeks. Kurenai's eyes narrowed, but she didn't look directly at him. Goodbye, Naruto. Apart from your chakra control routines, what else do you have to learn? Naruto declared that he could execute the transformation jutsu. Kurenai was not informed by him that he had created sexy jutsu to eliminate perverts. In conjunction with the substitution jutsu. I've been using the clone jutsu and shadow clone jutsu, as you may have noticed. Kurenai inquired, do you have any idea? Naruto nodded as he spoke. You can't rely on me to learn techniques right now. It takes some time to develop your chakra control before learning ninjutsu or genjutting. Naruto nodded. As he spoke, they were in a comfortable silence as it became clear that Kurenai was going to provide him with aid. When is the appropriate time to begin, Kurenai-sensei? He asked with a smile on his face, as if referring to himself as his sensei. I can't train you until your chakra control reaches an appropriate level. At present, I will train you to overcome the weaknesses that a genjutsu user typically has. Genjutsu is essentially about keeping your feet off the mat and away from your adversary. Genjutsu should not be used alongside your target as it is likely to fail. Your target may prevent you from practicing genjutsu initially, among other reasons. Naruto nodded and absorbed the information like a sponge. As I talk, I want you to walk on the tree, Kurenai said. It will enhance your ability to observe and control your chakras. Naruto proceeded to walk on a tree that was situated close by. Kurenai persisted on her lecture while sitting on the rock. Genjutsu's main benefit is that, with proper practice, your opponent will almost never realize they are being eluded by an illusion. In the event that they do, it could be too late. Kurenai's voice was filled with a sense of pride and allure. It is an art that demands a combination of subtlety, finesse, and intelligence. Genjutsu masters typically triumph over those who are more intelligent and skilled in their combat techniques. After falling on Naruto's feet, he asked if anyone had achieved fame through their use of Genjutsu. Genjutsu is practiced by many ninja, but I am the only JN, I teach Gizmo, at least in my village. With the exception of our Hokage, I am the only other Genjutsu master. Naruto was taken aback when he discovered that Kurenai was among the few Genjutsu practitioners in the community, but recalled something from his introductory book on gypsy magic. Did any of the Uchiha Genjutsu masters become engulfed before they were eliminated? Naruto inquired, barely missing Kurenai's brief expression of irritation. Irrespective of its content. Naruto observed Kurenai's expression as she remained silent, with her face scrunched up in thought. I have only 2 recollections left on me. Shisui Uchiha was the pioneer. The second was present. The older brother of your teammate Sasuke, Itachi Uchiha. Naruto's focus shifted from his position halfway up the tree to his left, leaving him in a state of disorientation. After the massacre, he had heard about Itachi. Considered a genius, he became an ANBU captain at the age of 13. Unless he had the necessary strength, Naruto would never consider him for combat. He was on the verge of falling, but he managed to hold his balance and continue walking down without any trouble. During our training, I'll randomly test you to see how quickly your mind can adjust to situations and how promptly you respond. The quicker you react, the more proficiently you will become at adjusting to different situations. Genjutsu practitioners are most vulnerable to one another. The ability of a specialist to identify and eliminate illusions is superior to that of non-genjutsu ninja, which can put you at risk. Kurenai's lack of communication with Naruto, after he nodded and stopped talking, allowed him to fully comprehend the situation. He gave her a thumbs up. The most dangerous type of shinobi after a professional genjutsu practitioner, as they are highly effective at close range. There are numerous methods to prevent them from approaching you. By increasing your speed, you can easily evade a taijutsu master and still manage their attacks. I think that's what sounds is trying to convey. Is it possible for me to emulate Sasuke? He inquired. Kurenai shook her head in agreement. Understanding, not exactly. In taijutsu, Sasuke's martial arts techniques involve using his speed to overcome obstacles and hit hard on the mat. His Sharingan would enable him to anticipate his opponent's movements once he has unlocked it. I will teach you how to evade attacks and use Genjutsu to counter them. His eyes were wide open as he looked at her. Sasuke will be reliant on his speed and power, but your combat style will prioritize the latter. I'll assist you with your taijutsu so that you can have an alternative martial art. Naruto was slightly astonished when he asked, do you believe it? Kurenai nodded as he spoke. Naruto's mind was tainted by an illusionary thought. Without using it, how do you know how to train like this? Kurenai-sensei grinned. Even if I refrain from using that technique, I can still learn from other people who might benefit from the same method when meeting another genjutsu user. Naruto nodded as he spoke. I'm curious about Sasuke, as he was one of my potential candidates for the team. The other graduating genin, including you, is subject to the same rule. Naruto's nod was repeated once and he did. Kurenai looked up, and Naruto noticed the sun had gone down. How do you think you can assist me? He was under the impression that they had talked for a longer duration than what was actually happening. It's a bit late for training, isn't it? Tomorrow we start playing. Hopefully tomorrow. Despite the slight breeze, Naruto was able to handle falling from the tree during his training and nodded off. With his book in hand, he gazed at Kurenai and asked her to take the lead. She raised her eyebrow at him but he didn't speak for a few moments. Kurenai smiled, will you come to see us? Let's start by taking a shower, don't worry, I can finish earlier. I won't be here for an extended period. Upon arriving in the village, Naruto and his new teacher began to contemplate Shikamaru's books and their immense impact on him. Naruto looked at Kurenai and smiled, aware that he had a sensei ready to help him improve as ninja. Kurenai reduced their speed and surveyed the surrounding area as they approached the merchant district, then proceeded to a store with sappy teacup display in front of it. Kurenai was following Naruto as he entered the shop, but only after recognizing the store. He recollected how he was prohibited from entering the stadium after playing a practical joke in the vicinity. Naruto's grin was impish, and a plan of action is emerging rapidly. Naruto stood in his sexy jutsu, with her clothes still on, after the smoke had dissipated and a change was detected. Due to the transformation's taller stature, they didn't adjust for it and clung tightly, exposing a lot of skin. Naruto remained unfazed and took his seat in the chair opposite Kurenai. They were sitting in a private space in the cafe. Kurenai inquired about Naruto. Naruto nodded. Are you right? I decided to change my identity and not deal with any of the employees here because I didn't want to be seen as a fool. It was not his first time doing it. He had visited the hot springs while instructing Konohamaru with the sexy jutsu, and he changed his appearance to enter the women's side. Kurenai was never informed of his actions by him. Kurenai bowed her head high as she massaged her temples. You should have informed me that you had a problem with this place, Naruto. Don't put too much strain on you, please, Naruto muttered. Very well, Kurenai-sensei. She scowled at me. I'm not surprised you have to do this, Naruto. I'm completely displeased. Naruto stated that he also shares the same sentiment. Kurenai's tea was brought to the table by a waiter shortly after. Kurenai, do you have anything for your friend? Sweetly, Naruto offered to sip tea if you so desire. A sharp nod was given by the waiter. All right, of course. Despite the waiter's blushing, Naruto smiled and made a triumphant entrance. You seem to be having a good time, Kurenai stated. This is my usual way of deceiving men, and it's not a new skill for me. Kurenai chuckled softly. Do you think that's right? I suppose you like the attention, don't you? A pretty girl like yourself would be pursued by guys wherever you went, Naruto said with a murmur of blood. According to Kurenai, he was beautiful. She referred to the transformation as beautiful, not him. This transformation is necessary for this reason. A few people are hopelessly perverted and they require a bit of shock. The attention I receive is not authentic, but I do find it enjoyable. Naruto's comfort was expressed by Kurenai, who remained silent while giving her tea and beaming with a warm smile. As Naruto waited for his tea, he closed his eyes and began to feel the world around him. The light gray color of the table and chair in his sensor world was felt by him. The sensation of Kurenai's chakra caused his sensor world to malfunction, allowing him to perceive objects from far away. He promptly recognized that a chakra signature would obscure him, much like any other person he had encountered. Kurenai's chakra signature captivated him, enveloped his mind, and inundated his brain with positive emotions. He experienced difficulty breathing and sweaty palms. He could claim to have felt the Hokage's chakra signature nearby, but Kurenai halted his train of thought and forced him to leave his sensor world. Naruto, are you okay? Kurenai inquired. Naruto's gaze widened as his eyes naturally shone. He gave a deep stare into Kurenai's red-eyed eyes and felt his face get hot as the Indian slowly approached him. You seem to be suffering from a fever. Naruto observed that Kurenai had finished drinking his tea. Kurenai-sensei, I'm fine, Naruto said in a quick reply. He was still in the process of changing his girl's tune, as evidenced by her voice. My sensor ability was affected by an unusual event. The waiter's arrival left Kurenai feeling distraught. He dispensed Naruto's tea and was given a quick, yet appreciative thank you. Are we able to assist you? She asked after the waiter left them alone. Shortly after, Naruto drank his tea and observed the liquid that was sipping in his mouth. I was attempting to improve my sensor ability while waiting for my tea. Generally speaking, everything is just a shade of gray. Chakra signatures are commonly observed as exhibiting a dull blue coloration. Naruto lowered his gaze and stared at Kurenai. When I detected your chakra, it was a bright sky blue. Your chakra was felt. Elaborate. Generally speaking, my chakra signature is not relevant to me, but yours may have drawn closer towards it. If you can wrap around it, that's the way it is. My sensor ability went crazy. Kurenai's gaze caught his eye, indicating that he had made an unintelligent statement. No, that wasn't the case. She refrained from making any teasing towards him. It's possible that she was trying to interpret his recent statement. Kurenai expressed his discomfort, saying, how strange it must have been, after enduring years of suffering. It could be that it responds to sentimental messages. Still, it's a task that requires individual effort. Naruto nodded and reassured that using the ability is not dangerous. Kurenai later called the waiter after he had finished his tea and asked for the bill. Naruto retrieved cash for tea, but Kurenai came to her senses and took out money of her own. Naruto, Kurenai offered to foot the bill. My indulgence is worth mentioning. Kurenai-sensei, I offer to pay for it, so please excuse me, Naruto said. The act of doing it is what a man would engage in, after all. Kurenai's expression was a murmur. Naruto, you are no longer a man. To which Kurenai seemed to be more sensitive with her twinkle in an angry expression as she cracked open the hatchet. Naruto shrugged and then proceeded to strike Gritter. You are my friend, and now that I'm a student, I want to pay for you. Naruto's arms were positioned beneath his breasts. Alright, I say. Kurenai-sensei, I am grateful for your response. Kurenai's grin transformed into a charming smile. My gratification for this opportunity. Kurenai and Naruto left each other's house after paying the bill, walking towards their apartment together. Naruto disregarded his transformation after they arrived at it. After putting on his sweater, he glanced at Kurenai and gave her a big smile. Kurenai-sensei, I am grateful for the training you provided me with today. Thank you for your support, I appreciate it. Kurenai's expression was one of smile. We extend a warm welcome to you. Naruto nodded and said, Good morning, I'll see you tomorrow at the training ground next to the waterfall. Momentum, I'll be back home, he exclaimed, eager to start learning Genjutsu and become proficient in the next day. Naruto's eyes were fixed on a particular spot on the bridge, which caught the attention of his fellow pilots. As he rested, Kakashi appeared at the exact location where Naruto was gazing. You're running late, Kakashi-sensei. Sakura yelled back at him. Kakashi stated that despite Sakura's efforts to arrive on time, he was confronted by a cat with purple and black fur. It seemed to have the ability to communicate verbally, as if it were capable of speech. I was frightened by the fact that Naruto and Sakura had cat summons before, and they both looked at him in disbelief. According to Sasuke, a lot of cats reside in an aged Uchiha compound. A few of them possess the ability to communicate. Is that accurate? Kakashi inquired. It's a positive development to know. In any case, let's take this opportunity to focus on our task for the day. It remains to be seen if we can carry out some real training. Naruto and his crew jumped off the bridge's railing, leading Kakashi to the mission assignment desk. While reading his ever-present novel, Kakashi was absorbed in it. Kurenai had shared with him about the dishonorable and humiliating situation, which made him feel guilty for reading swimsuit magazines. Naruto disregarded Kakashi's giggling and contemplated the information he had read about the formation and creation of Genjutsu from his book. He had a few ideas about the illusions he wanted to create and was enthusiastic about starting since gaining knowledge of Kurenai as an apprentice. Once you have the right chakra control, it's relatively easy to do Genjutsu. When trained properly in Genjutsu, it is possible to control chakra flowing within the target's cerebral nervous system using various means, including eye contact and hitting your target with a weapon that contains the illusion of energy. Nevertheless, the most straightforward technique for performing illusions and entering your target's chakra system is by using hand seals. The success or failure of the technique is contingent on the use of hand seals, which must be formed in the correct order to form the desired pattern. The technique may not function properly if one hand is not aligned with the rest, or it may function differently to the user's liking, similar to ninjutsu. This is because the hand seals are responsible for arranging the chakra's molding in order to create the technique. The technique can vary if the chakra is not properly molded. Genjutsu can be produced quickly, regardless of the use of hand seals or not. The first step is to envision the type of illusion you want to implement in your technique. Afterwards, create the hand seals required to activate the technique or mold the chakra and use a medium to transfer the energy into your target's chakra network. Depending on the combination of hand seals and the quantity of them used during technique activation, the effects of 12 different combinations will vary. Locating a Genjutsu master to help them learn the technique would be the most effective approach. If a master is unavailable, the best approach is to try again and see if it works. To improve your Genjutsu skills, find a willing test subject and experiment with different combinations of hand seals, or transfer chakra, through training. It was unquestionably a great experience. He would need to use hand seals, but his aim was to devise a way to punch someone in the face and capture them in his illusion. In the event of an opponent's attack, he could counterattack and release chakra into their system. Naruto's head snapped to the right as they approached the mission assignment desk. He observed an intriguing chakra pattern that resembled Kurenai's journey towards them. While he waited for the chakra's source to emerge, his team continued on their journey. After a few seconds, Sakura turned around. Sakura greeted him with a frown and exclaimed, "Naruto. Let's move on, or we'll be stuck." Naruto said with a blinked expression, which made Sakura happy for some reason that wasn't his problem. He didn't want to move, however, and her smile flickered. Naruto's direction was mirrored by Kakashi. Before entering the building, Team 10 had already departed from it. Naruto looked to Shikamaru and smiled as he emerged from his stupendous experience. "Shikamaru, yeah." "Naruto," Shikamaru affirmed. Naruto responded with a smile, "How did you come to know that I was coming?" Shikamaru chuckled without hesitation. Naruto turned to Shikamaru's companions. "Thanks, Ino, Chai. Asuma-sensei, and you're welcome." Naruto was given a nod by Asuma, who then smiled in response. "Naruto, it's great to see you back." Naruto was addressed by Ino, who then made a beeline towards Sasuke. "Sasuke, good morning." She gave Sakura a glance before continuing to speak. "It's a tragedy that I was on the same side of the football field as that billboard brow. It's a shame that I don't belong to your team. If only I had the opportunity to swap with Naruto." Sakura yelled back, "What did you say, Ino pig?" and Naruto had to listen. Chai swallowed a bag of chips after eating, and then smiled. "Say hi to Naruto, my darling." "What's happening?" Naruto asked Chai with a smile. "I'm confident in my abilities. Wouldn't it be better if you could say, I hope this helps?" "Naruto," Shikamaru affirmed. "If you have the chance, drop by my house today and we'll see if you come back. Finding out my current living location shouldn't be a problem. After all, my dad was a clan head." Naruto nodded as he spoke. He was grateful for Shikamaru's efforts in being a good friend. "Good to go. Our social engagement has been fruitful, so let's make the most of our time," Kakashi explained. It's true that Sakura and Ino have never had a quarrel with each other since they started fighting. The last look shared was between Sakura and Ino as they both returned to their respective teams. Naruto's head trembled as he continued. The mission of Team 7 was to reach a farm located on the outskirts of the village. While walking with Shikamaru, Kakashi observed that Naruto had been completely at ease. Naruto's expression was one of pure happiness, as he appeared to be more than just isolated and smiling. He wasn't entirely astonished. Naruto was asked by Asuma to join Team 10 for training after being dropped off a week earlier. He was, in fact, worried about Naruto's welfare. While Asuma was able to deflect his enemies away with ease, Naruto's decision to go behind the scenes was frustrating. Despite the situation, Kakashi couldn't hold him responsible. He reciprocated his actions by collaborating with Obito and Rin, and after their conversation on the bridge, he realized that Naruto had every right to not show respect towards his team members. Nonetheless, Naruto refrained from denouncing his faults, and subsequent to this event, Kakashi underwent substantial growth in Team 7's strength. Sadly, the cost was so appalling. Naruto was the pillar of Team 7's strength, and now that he had changed, his teammates had been experiencing hardship. Sakura had re-entered her insecurities, and he would need to find ways to boost her confidence. Sasuke's aloof demeanor aside, he appreciated his feud with Naruto, and without Naruto being in the public eye, it was all for him. Naruto's optimistic attitude and positivity were sorely missed by Kakashi. He was a good kid. The genuine motivation behind it was seeing him become intimate with someone outside of his team, and there was no doubt that Naruto was delivering on his word. He was fortunate to have established friendships, but he would need to explore his options. With his nose still buried in his book, Kakashi approached Naruto on foot. He drilled heartily, "So, Naruto," just as Shikamaru would have done. Naruto was captivated by that. Naruto asked, "When did you become friends with Shikamaru? If you ever stopped reading your porn, I might answer that too." With a burst of laughter, Kakashi proceeded to put an end to his tirades. "I'm curious, if you know anything about the goodness in Ika Icho series, right?" Naruto frowned. "It's not something I'm aware of. The fact remains that every woman has a strong dislike for the series due to its demeaning nature and tendency to target perverts." While Naruto was speaking, Kakashi observed Sakura and Sasuke glancing at him. His words sounded familiar, but they were insulted by Ika Iken, and he couldn't hide the truth. That's not the case here, actually. It's not just men who are fans of the Ika Ichang series, as there are also many women who enjoy it. Ika Ich's Paradise tells the story of an awesome ninja who goes on comedic adventures with love, exploring different types of kunoichi. To put it simply, it's a fantastic tool for teaching. It's not something I can't do. Kakashi was astonished by what had happened. He assumed that Naruto would have some knowledge about sex, given that he lived in the red light district and established the sexy jutsu. The more you admire the fairer skin, and become a pervert in Naruto, the more likely it is for you to become one. Unless you're not attracted to women, that's fine. Naruto's cheeks appeared red, causing Kakashi to smile backstage. It was only then that he received a true, flesh-and-blood response. It's fortunate that he wasn't completely gone, thank goodness. Kakashi became aware that Naruto had not replied to his inquiry and decided to inquire at a later time, as they were already at the farm. After that, Kakashi walked up to the farm and knocked on the door. After a short time, the farmer emerged and smiled profusely. "It seems like my farm workers are in attendance for this event. You can start by picking carrots from the ground. You can approach me after completing something." The farmer turned around to go back to the farm, but he saw Naruto standing behind him, prompting him to turn and return to his vehicle. After considering this, "Can someone assist me in transferring manure from my old compost bin to the new one? Is it possible for the blonde kid to assist me?" he asked, pointing out the old compost heap and the new area on the other side of the farmland. Despite his doubts, Kakashi saw the inner glow in his eye. The daily abuse Naruto endured for safeguarding the village only served to aggrandize him. Despite this, Kakashi was a skilled ninja who had the ability to adapt to various situations. Alright. The farmer entered the house, and Kakashi leant against Naruto's ear. You can stay with us and continue to make a shadow clone and keep it going. Naruto nodded and produced a clone before it was sent to the compost heap. Kakashi observed his teammates. Now that we've addressed the problem, it's time to move on to the next task. Even though Naruto was the one responsible for the rift between them, he would still make an effort to protect him whenever necessary. Naruto and his team were diligent in collecting carrots for cleaning and delivering them to their destination. The farmer's return was a sudden and unexpected sight, but it wasn't until later that he returned. "Hey, kid," said the farmer as he approached him. Naruto asked, "Why do you have to dump manure in my compost bin?" "I'm currently stoking the excrement by using my shovel." Naruto was on the lookout for the farmer, who shook his head in frustration. "Boy, don't play games with me. I'm not sure." Naruto ceased pulling out a hearty carrot and turned to the farmer. "A jutsu allows me to play in multiple locations at the same time, giving me versatility. You can either watch me do it or I can show up at the compost heap doing what you asked me to do." "That's a good response, Naruto," Kakashi declared. "You're working hard, so don't be anxious about it." He subsequently inquired of the farmer. "If you have to give Naruto a chance, he'll be impressed." The farmer squealed and returned to the house. After reading his novel, Kakashi began to read it. The task was completed in a much more efficient manner than expected, with Naruto and his teammates performing tasks such as pulling carrots, herding livestock, and painting the fence surrounding the farm. Naruto observed Kakashi approach him after the mission was completed and the farmer thanked everyone for their help. "Let's take a walk," Kakashi suggested. The tone of his voice conveyed that he wasn't going to say no for an answer. Naruto left the farm with his sensei and nodded in agreement. "Kakashi-sensei, can you be of assistance? Did you know how long you stayed friends with Shikamaru?" Naruto's eyes flicked as he gazed. "I was replaced on your team by my clone on that day. Shikamaru did for me and I even received something good from him." "I'm curious, what books were they?" "A training manual for chakra control and similar topics. I went and trained by myself since you were not teaching us anything." With a nod, Kakashi proceeded to move forward. "Is it true that Shikamaru helped you learn your aptitude as a sensor?" Naruto inquired. "Yup, really, I'm told. This behavior is typical of the Uzumaki clan. There's a Uzumaki on the memorial stone, sir." Kushina was the person she referred to. "You're not sure about her," Kakashi said for a couple of seconds. "I've had the chance to meet her a few times, but I can only recall that she was the sole Uzumaki in the village. It is clear that you were there, even before you arrived." Like him, she was alone. "She was a real firecracker. What kind of person was she?" "A great deal like you, to be precise." Before Kakashi could see it, Naruto smiled and then quickly covered his face. "In any case, while I'm glad you're dealing with your problems alone, feel free to contact me if you experience any difficulties. There's a reason why I haven't been teaching you any techniques, but now I can use some of those." Naruto's expression was a smile. "Kakashi-sensei, that's really cool." Kakashi said, "Thanks, everybody." He placed his hand on Naruto's head, and Naruto was allowed to ruffle his hair once more. "Good day, can I have a chat with you tomorrow? Thank you for supporting me in assisting that farmer." Kakashi smiled at him. "Anything goes." Naruto was left on his own, as he disappeared into the night with only a cloud of smoke. Kurenai appeared exactly where Naruto had directed his eyes to on his clearing during his training, with the leaves surrounding her indicating she was using the body flicker. "Kurenai-sensei, welcome," Naruto said. Kurenai's expression was one that indicated he didn't smile. She cut herself off as her eyes widened, wondering, "How did you realize I was?" "You possess a sensor ability, right? Naruto nodded. I acknowledged the statement. In any case, let's begin. Kurenai-sensei, a Japanese teenager, inquired if they would be participating in today's Genjutsu training. We will do it, but not now nor at the future. We're going to start with some stretching exercises. What is the meaning behind stretching in Naruto's story? Kurenai nodded and put herself in his gaze. Naruto, it's important to stretch as an exercise. Stretching your muscles improves blood circulation throughout the body, allowing you to expend more energy. Furthermore, it boosts your overall flexibility, which contributes to a sense of uncertainty in combat situations. Although there were larger words, his training book referred to the material that made it easier for him to comprehend. With her legs bowed and hands clasped, Kurenai raised her hands to the air. Following Naruto's lead, Kurenai nodded off after they had finished the exercise. Kurenai stated that stretching can make your muscles more flexible. Stretching regularly won't cause any strain on your muscles. She reached her chest and palmed her toes with her hands. To execute this pose, squeeze your legs towards the floor and touch your toes while keeping your knees taut. If you feel a slight burning sensation in your lower leg muscles, stop and hold it for as long as possible before standing up. Naruto's nodded posture was accompanied by his fingertips reaching up to his ankles, as he couldn't reach his toes. Kurenai greeted Naruto with a good answer, as they both acknowledged the pose. You're already in the process of becoming as flexible as I am. Kurenai commanded Naruto to stand up after he had been holding the pose for 30 seconds. Impacting on a stretch for an extended period is essential to prevent excessive strain on one or more muscles. Kurenai positioned her feet at a wide angle and leaned to the right. Your right leg will be made stronger with this exercise. Repeat the process until you experience a slight burn, then hold it for 30 seconds before release. Subsequently, switch to the left leg and repeat. Kurenai resorted to doing additional leg movements before standing up and shaking herself. Naruto replicated the actions he took. Here are a couple of arm stretches I've found that can minimize the strain on your arms when you use them extensively. Hold both your hands with high altitude and place them on the ground while raising one side above the other. Naruto was captivated by Kurenai's impressive bosom as she taught the drill, sensing how her stretch highlighted her figure. Upon discovering that Kurenai had completed the workout and was waiting for him, he quickly resumed it, hoping that she wouldn't notice his gaze. Naruto discovered that Kurenai's body shape was highlighted in each stretches, which made it harder for him to concentrate. His reluctance to view her unclothed breasts was not indicative of a pervert, as he wasn't interested in it. Alright, we've exhausted all our activities and done the necessary stretching. The first thing we should do is start with some conditioning, Kurenai stated, seemingly unaware of Naruto's thoughts. It was undoubtedly superior to the other options. Kurenai guided Naruto towards the end of the passage and asked for his approval, saying, "Naruto, please proceed as fast as you can, running from one side to the other." Following Naruto's completion, he would engage in various exercises to enhance his leg strength and speed. The majority of the exercises were monotonous and caused him to feel tired, as he would frequently perform more than required. Naruto was aware that he would be tested on his near-infinite endurance through this training. He was aware that his efforts would be worthwhile. Following his training for the day, Naruto was ready to accompany Kurenai home, but he was stopped by Kurenten. Naruto asked, "What's the problem?" "Naruto, you are not my student," Kurenai said in response. "If we were together frequently, it would be suspicious considering you and I aren't on the same team." Naruto's expression was a smile. "Kurenai-sensei, I got it." Kurenai smiles at Naruto as he asks, "Do you have plans to see me tomorrow?" "I'll make an appointment to see you then." Kurenai inserted her hands into the ram seal and disappeared in smoke, leaving Naruto to continue his training. With little else to offer, he accepted Shikamaru's invitation and fled to an unfamiliar location. Naruto eventually arrived at the Nara compound, which was easily accessible after he asked for directions. He had not been ignored or warned to get lost, and the directions given were precise. Naruto inspected the gates bearing the Nara clan emblem and promptly opened them. Finally, after observing the deer that were gathering on the nearby fields and walking around, he came across the clan head's dwelling, where Shikamaru was said to have lived. A woman with long black hair and 2 bangs on her face was greeted by Naruto as she knocked on the door. A red dress was paired with a white underwear that she had on to hide the furs. The woman asked if she could provide assistance. Naruto's response was one of seated, as that was what he believed people would do when they received each other with an embrace. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Shikamaru has invited me to come over here. Is it possible for me to enter the room? The woman looked at Naruto and then smiled kindly. Alright, of course, come on in. Shikamaru shared with us all of your details. Naruto took the woman, who was Shikamaru's mother, to the living room. Shikamaru, Mrs. What's the question I was asked about by Naruto? He's positioned outside, she stated. Then, she scowled and grumbled. I'm sorry, I didn't include myself in my introduction. Hi, I'm Yoshino. It's possible to stay for dinner, but why haven't you come earlier? I told Shika to say that you're welcome here. According to Naruto, I had a lot on my plate, she said. He was undoubtedly unafraid of the prospect of being thrown out. Thanks for extending my presence here. Yoshino's expression was one of pure happiness. Naruto, it's so much fun. We'll have dinner ready in just a few minutes. After Yoshino went to the kitchen, Naruto left and came across Shikamaru. On the porch, he was playing shiki with an older version of Shikamaru. He must have been his dad, given that his face had some scars and he had a small beard on the end. Naruto observed their game from the doorway for a brief moment, before closing his eyes and entering his sensor world. Like Kurenai's chakra, Shikamaru had a sky blue hue. Naruto's deeper examination revealed something. What does the term brown refer to? Naruto was about to experience that brown hue again, but he was removed from his sensory realm before regaining consciousness. Shikamaru asked, "Are you Nego?" before turning his head away from the shiki board. Naruto's gaze widened as his eyes naturally shone. Yeah. I had been here for a few minutes. Naruto, as we call it, was a free-to-watch anime. Naruto nodded and sat between Shikamaru and his dad, intent on competing with him. Shikamaru, I'm not sure why you didn't introduce me to your friend. Nara inquired about the matter. You didn't ask before, Shikamaru stated, maintaining his gaze on the board without any distraction. Shikaku Nara, he stated. Naruto is the ideal person for you to be. I've heard a lot of things about you. Naruto said. Hatha hath remarked that it's good to have you back at this place. Shikaku opted for the next step. In the same way. Naruto continued to show father and son engaging in shiki play, but shortly after, Shikamaru began to groan. Oh my god, I didn't have a clue what to do. What a nightmare, Shikamaru exclaimed. He looked at Naruto and smiled. Naruto was about to answer, "Are you following the game?" but Yoshino intervened and interrupted him. It's time to enjoy dinner. The closest he came to being was eating ramen with Irika or the Hokage. Naruto relished the warm welcome, the interaction between Shikamaru and his parents, and the flavor of the dishes. He had a desire to do it again. Shikamaru affirmed, as for Naruto, I dig still into his mackerel. You mentioned earlier today that you had a feeling for me about to do something, she said. Naruto stated that he felt something about the chakra of his clan's special ability. Shikamaru expressed gratitude by smiling, I couldn't have found it without you. To be honest, it's not a problem at all. According to Shikaku, Naruto's ability is quite captivating. A friend of mine has the ability to detect chakras, as I have been learning. Naruto stated that the technique can be activated by using hand seals, but it is not a given. I close my eyes and I enter what is commonly known as my sensor world. It appears that there is a particular spot where I can observe the flow and signatures of chakras in my body. Shikaku chuckled. It's a natural response. That's a remarkable talent. Your ability, if it doesn't already possess the Byakugan or Sharingan, will have elements of both. Naruto's expression was a smile. It's no wonder that Sasuke seemed to be filled with jealousy. Following the completion of his perfectly cooked meal, Naruto escorted Shikamaru to safety. The clouds were a pale shade of pink as the sun set, and they stood against an orange sky. Shikamaru expressed his fondness for cloud watching, remarking, "Naruto, I also enjoy it. My thoughts always come back to, wouldn't life be better if you were like a cloud?" "That would be a good idea," Naruto suggested. "It's a bit tedious, but nice nonetheless." Shikamaru's expression was one of pure happiness. He proceeded to the shiki board and commenced organizing it. "Goodbye, Naruto. If you're interested in learning shiki, I can help you. Let's meet some games to get you used to playing," Naruto said with a nod. "Let's get started," Naruto said, and he quickly learned the fundamental principles of shiki, such as the function of the different pieces or the overall aim of playing the game. After a few matches, Shikamaru informed Naruto that his playstyle was indicative of his personality, which is unpredictable and full of creativity. Both he was taken aback and relieved that Naruto grasped the concept so easily. Despite this, Naruto's lack of experience led to him being involved on more than one occasion. In a bothersome tone, Shikamaru said, "Seize the day, Naruto. An essential requirement for starting your game is to have a clear understanding of what you are playing. You can then proceed to improvise. It is important to have a clear objective and work towards achieving it, so you can achieve your goal as quickly as possible." Naruto's look on the board was accompanied by a wicked grin. "I think that's a really cool idea, Shikamaru. If I come back next time, it's possible that we can play shiki in real life." Shikamaru inquired, "What's your interpretation?" "I can utilize my shadow clones as shiki pieces, which will increase its usefulness." Naruto's expression was brimming with excitement, leaving his eyes on the ground. Shikamaru's expression was one of pure happiness. "If you can execute it, that could be the most successful move you've made in your life so far. I'll have to inform Dad about this so he can enjoy the fun." Naruto expressed his approval by saying, "That's fine with me," beaming. "It's getting late to the chase. It's time for me to take action." Naruto went to the living room to listen to Shikamaru's parents having a lively, yet casual conversation. Naruto expressed gratitude for his invitation to come and participate in the show, saying, "I'm grateful that you took the time to do it." Yoshino exclaimed, "It's been a lot of fun. Naruto, I am glad to have you with me. It's great to see you here. You have the freedom to come and go as you please." "I'm in agreement," Shikaku declared. "According to Naruto, you're a fascinating child. We would be happy to have you join us more often." Naruto's expression was a smile. "I want to say, thanks again." "Shikamaru," Yoshino announced. "Leave our guest at the door." "Is it necessary for me to?" Shikamaru questioned. It was Yoshino's opinion that it must be done, as he stated. The room's temperature was perceived to be dropping by Naruto. Mother's anger was evident. Shikamaru nodded in agreement. "Don't try to manipulate me into thinking this is a lie. Naruto, please follow me." Shikamaru escorted Naruto to the clan compound gate. "Naruto, it's great to have you around." "Agree on me," Naruto said with a smile. He was reminded once more of the efforts Shikamaru and his friend made to be friends. He was taken aback to find out that someone who was known for being lazier than most could accomplish this for him. "Agreed, I'll oblige. Thank you once again." Shikamaru's expression was one of pure happiness. What is the purpose of having friends? Naruto asked Kakashi, who was waiting at the bridge with his team, as he contemplated the training replete with students over the last 2 weeks. His fitness level had improved significantly as a result of his adaptation to the workout. Kurenai had been assisting him in various areas, including conditioning and Genjutsu training. Kurenai was impressed by Naruto's concepts of illusions and helped refine them, as the 2 techniques he developed necessitated excessive use of hand seals to activate. The creation of Genjutsu appeared straightforward on paper, but challenging in reality, as Naruto had learned from his experiences. Kurenai's involvement would have hindered him from developing his own methods. Naruto gained the ability to dismantle Genjutsu and break illusions shortly after his chakra system was invaded. If he couldn't defeat Genjutsu himself, Kurenai thought it was worth it to have one of his shadow clones dispel the illusion for him. Naruto's chakra control was guided by Kakashi, leading him to add up to 3 leaves. Even if Kurenai had advised him otherwise, he still appreciated the gesture. After working for a few days, he was able to master the skill of adhering to any firm surface using chakra and then proceeded to walk on water. Despite his ability to create a Genjutsu, it would not be effective. The method of sending chakra to Kurenai or a different clone by Naruto was successful, but it was unsuccessful due to external chakra dispelling the illusion. Naruto's spiritual energy was much lower than his physical energy, as per the issue at hand. Naruto would experience more exhaustion after practicing Genjutsu, even if it didn't work out as he had before. Genjutsu was classified as Yin style by Kurenai, who believed that it required significant amounts of spiritual energy to be effective. However, while Naruto was focused on fixing his unstable, but improved chakra control and increasing his spiritual energy, Team 7's performance had significantly increased. Their mission record was impeccable and they never failed to impress anyone with their efficient, swift, and low-key work. According to Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura were made more content by Kakashi's instruction on chakra detection, which they learned from his team. Naruto's chakra detection training, taught by Kakashi, had significantly improved his sensor proficiency. Chakra signatures could be felt up to 20 meters around him if he concentrated. He had a range of 10 meters, even when at ease, if he didn't. His aptitude for detecting the colors present in chakra signatures had developed. Kakashi's chakra was a sky blue hue similar to Kurenai's chakra, but Naruto would perceive alternating shades of dark red, black, and white with purple within each individual. Kurenai was intrigued by it, and he requested him to examine her chakra signature. He had been hesitant to do so last time he searched for her chakra because of something that happened the previous time. He expected to feel those same emotions, but eventually, he noticed a blue chakra within Kurenai's chakra that was almost like water. Following his explanation, Kurenai advised him to ignore it for the time being. More testing would be required to verify if what Naruto was experiencing was anomalous. When asked about his theory on chakra affinity, Kakashi replied that he could determine someone's primary chakra preference, but it would require testing multiple shinobi to confirm the accuracy of this answer. After Naruto's arrival, Kakashi appeared an hour later, about 30 minutes after Sasuke and Sakura arrived. Since Kakashi was used to his antics on Team 7, nobody blasted him for being late. "You seem to be in good spirits, bro," Kakashi remarked. "Today, we aim to secure a C-rank mission." Sakura remarked that it was time to put an end to these tedious tasks. Naruto uttered the words, "Yeah. We can now play with greater intensity and skill. It's going to be a good test for our abilities," Sasuke declared, grimacing. At the mission assignment desk, Kakashi started walking and retrieved his novel. Naruto also took out a book. Sakura was taken aback when she asked, "Will Naruto read?" Naruto's book reading was met with a smile from Sasuke, who shrugged off the gaze. He had to possess good observation skills to read simultaneously while walking, which is why he did it. The training of the sensor ability was also accomplished. He was reading the ideal shinobi's rules and maxims at the time, and decided to incorporate some of the rules into his daily routine. He would have never contemplated reading a book before, but it was an aspect of his newfound self-absorption and vitality. He was aware that his actions were a result of his desire to modify his life. After giving up on relying on others to help him, he realized that his actions could make a significant difference in his personal and professional lives. He would alter his lifestyle and circumstances to suit his own tastes, rather than stating that he would do something without any effort. Due to his status as Naruto Uzumaki, the future Genjutsu master, he was in charge of determining his own fate, whether through direct intervention or not. The head of GAT Company, GAT, a shipping magnate, was staring at his latest client while wearing black sunglasses that perfectly aligned with their expressionless faces. His client was infamous in the Land of Water for leading an anti-government faction against Hokage, a leader from the Hidden Mist village. He was in need of a significant amount of money to stage another rebellion, which led his client to approach him for financial assistance. Recommendations for aid. "The reason you're here," GAT remarked. "I am unable to conquer the Land of Waves entirely due to one man. He goes by the name Tazuna. Tazuna is constructing a bridge to connect the Land of Waves to the Land of Fire, which will result in losing business and money, something that cannot be achieved." GAT positioned his elbows on the desk, clasping his hands in front of his mouth. "My request to you is to execute Tazuna. Afterward, I will personally finance your uprising against the Hidden Mist village. Assuming you're Hokage, I anticipate earning a higher income than before." The client inquired about the compensation they would receive for killing her. "A sum of 500 million ri, including a deposit of 50 million. Does that suffice for you?" Mei Terumi muttered happily. "Mr. Speaker, that's more than satisfactory. GAT is the name given to a person who has been subjected to criminal activity." "Good. I had the idea of hiring Zabuza Momochi to handle this task, but he hasn't provided any additional assistance." "You have. I don't have any basis to reject you." Mei laughed aloud. "I'll let you know if there's no reason for me to betray you, as long as you don't. In the event that everything goes smoothly, I am excited to work with you in the future." GAT's mouth curved upwards. "I share your sentiments, Ms. Terumi. I am as much a part of it." What is the explanation for this statement? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more content. Support the original author by clicking their profile link in the pinned comment of the first video of this series. They deserve the love. Want early access and exclusive content? Join my Patreon community, link below. Your support fuels these videos. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay entertained, stay safe.